Tonight on TV38.
A cesspool of contamination. That's what the defense calls the police probe in the Simpson murder case. We'll have the latest. Remembering a hero, a Stoughton firefighter pays the ultimate price for saving lives. Tonight, his colleagues pay tribute. And Bill Clinton visits Boston tomorrow. We'll revisit some past campaign supporters. I'm Uma Pemiraj. You watch News 4 at 10 here on TV38.
How would it feel to reach so high, to move with such agility? To fly like an eagle, or to feel the height of emotion? This is basketball, and we've got you covered with the Boston Celtics and the Boston College Eagles. Get into the game with TV38 Sports.
I can't believe she wants to leave me.
Next time on Cheers.
Lilith had an affair. I had no idea.
The doc just got the bad news.
Yes, Fraser, I'm off to live in the eco pod.
Now, some guys can deal with rejection.
I swear to God, I'm gonna jump!
Unfortunately, that's not the case here.
I can't lie to you, Fraser. It's over.
Is Fraser on the edge? Next time on Cheers.
Join the gang Tuesday night at 7 on TV38.
So Mix-a-Lot is the watcher.
See what else is popping.
From his penthouse, he's got his eye on a hustler who thinks he's a playboy.
What's your story, cowboy?
I'm here trying to be a gigolo, man.
But what this gigolo doesn't know will hurt him.
I'm gonna wait for you right here.
Then, it's monkey see, monkey do, and you get a ringside view.
Think I'll stay a while.
On another eye-opening episode of The Watcher.
Next Wednesday night at 9 on TV38.
You're watching WBZ News 4 on TV38. Coming up next on WBZ News 4.
A stunning day of setbacks for the defense in the O.J. Simpson trial. We'll have the latest from L.A.
A tough loss. Taunton firefighters marked the spot where a brother-in-arms lost his life this weekend.
Also, caught in the act, home video apparently showing a state contractor illegally dumping dirt from a harbor cleanup project.
Now, Randy Price, Uma Pemiraj, Bruce Schwegler, Bob Lobel. Now, live, this is WBZ News 4.
Good evening, everyone. More strange twists and turns in the O.J. Simpson case today as opening statements finally resumed after several delays.
In a highly unusual ruling, the judge will allow the prosecution 10 minutes more for another shot at opening statements. That'll come tomorrow. That was only one of today's key developments. The day began like the others in the trial, O.J. Simpson leaving the Los Angeles County Jail in a special van. But once the proceedings began, they took an unusual turn. Reporter Linda Joyce brings us the latest from Los Angeles.
Well, Randy, prosecutors did not get the delay they were after, but they did get a chance to readdress the jurors in some more opening statements. The judge ruled that the defense violated California laws regulating the sharing of information. This tape of O.J. Simpson's exercise video will be introduced by the prosecution to illustrate Simpson's ability to maneuver when they readdress the jury. During defense opening statements, the judge allowed Simpson to demonstrate his limited mobility because of what Johnny Cochran called his chronic arthritis and bad knees following 4 surgeries. Prosecutors told the judge they had no reports from the defense about Simpson's illness. There are 2 other areas prosecutors will be allowed to talk about when they give a second round of opening statements Tuesday morning, in what legal analysts and the judge himself refer to as unprecedented.
All right, and Ms. Clark, I'm going to give you a 10-minute time limit on that.
Earlier Monday, Cochran finished his opening remarks by referring to the prosecution's evidence as a cesspool of contamination. He charged the police department bungled the collection of samples, and he accused authorities of leaking information about some socks found in Simpson's bedroom that had Nicole Simpson's blood on them.
No DNA test had yet been performed, so they had predicted the results before the socks had ever been tested for DNA. They were still, in fact, at the LAPD lab.
Cochran also took issue with the prosecution's timeline. During her opening statements, Marcia Clark went into great detail to illustrate how no one other than Simpson could have committed the crimes. Cochran told jurors it would have been impossible.
You'd have to be Superman or woman to commit these crimes under these circumstances, kill two people with one knife in this time frame, in this little space, have no marks on you and no great amount of blood or whatever. I mean, I think it's going to be impossible. And I think that that's what makes this, among other things which I tried to show today, a reasonable doubt case.
So, Randy, here's where the trial stands. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, prosecutors will go back into that court and make their second round of opening remarks to the jury, and then it's likely they will begin calling their witnesses right after that. Reporting from Los Angeles, I'm Linda Joyce. Randy, back to you in Boston.
Linda, as far as all of you observers outside the courtroom there, what was the feeling about the setback for the defense and the delay in opening statements, and also the restrictions they had to deal with today?
Well, I think it was expected. I think that the defense, as the judge even ruled, was calculated when they talked about many of these witnesses that they had not alerted the prosecution they were going to talk about. And they gambled. They took a risk, but we don't know at this point if the risk is going to pay off. So they were damaged a little. In the long run, many legal analysts say it will mean very little.
Linda Joyce in Los Angeles, thank you. And I talked with WBZ's legal analyst Alice Richmond tonight about Johnny Cochran's strategy of using that very long opening statement.
One is reminded of that line, you know, I'm sorry for such a long letter. I didn't have time to write a short one. I think this is really, I can't imagine that the jurors are still paying attention. I mean, I suspect the jurors are not going to remember what he said at the beginning or even at the middle at this juncture. But I guess I think that it was a bad tactic because he seems today to be quite flat. I think everybody, including that jury, or most particularly that jury, wants this case to get going. They want to hear somebody other than the lawyers and the judges talk.
Again, here's what's expected to happen tomorrow in the O.J. Simpson trial. The prosecution will get 10 minutes to revisit its first opening statement addressing defense transgressions. The prosecution will also show the jury 4 minutes of outtakes from a Simpson exercise video made a week before the murders. And barring any other last-minute developments, the prosecution may begin calling witnesses. And a reminder, News4 will provide continuing coverage of the Simpson case when courtroom events warrant. We'll bring you them live, and we'll have complete coverage on News4 on WBZ-TV. In other news tonight, a Cambridge teenager is in jail, charged in the death of a childhood friend. Prosecutors blame it all on a deadly game of Russian roulette. 17-year-old Mark Mendoza was in court today, charged with shooting 18-year-old Michael Vieira in the chest. Police say Mendoza brought his father's loaded gun to a friend's house and that the teen spun the cylinder and pulled the trigger while pointing a gun at each other. A Holyoke man accused of trying to snatch a 4-year-old away from her mother is undergoing psychiatric observation tonight. Police say 22-year-old Mark Klimick tried to kidnap the girl at this friendly's restaurant in Holyoke, but restaurant patrons stopped Klimick in the store parking lot. They kept Klimick cornered until police arrived.
Taunton's fire chief is taking action now following a tragedy this weekend. 5-year-old Enrique Padua died Sunday when flames swept through his family's house. Authorities believe the boy had been playing with matches at the time. A nearby firehouse was empty when the call came in, empty due to budget cuts. But now Taunton's fire chief says he's going to speed up the hiring of 15 new firefighters to be added to the fire department staff. In Stoughton, firefighters are preparing to bid farewell to one of their own. Victor Melende might have said it was just his job that he was doing. But as WBZ's Walt Sanders tells us tonight, Melende's friends, his family, fellow firefighters are honoring a hero.
There were floral and candle remembrances on the porch of the rooming house where Stoughton firefighter Victor Melende died last Saturday. The veteran firefighter was trapped by flames on the 3rd floor of the house while looking for residents. They all made it out. Melende, a father of 3, did not. At the Stoughton Fire Station, a fire engine on loan from Canton was being prepared for Melende's funeral.
Our brothers from the city of Boston were generous enough to come out here and lend us this apparatus that will hold the casket and the stairs to get the casket up and down.
Hundreds lined up in the cold outside the Farley Funeral Home where the veteran Stoughton firefighter was waiting. Chief, I understand that you and firefighter Melinde came onto the department at about the same time.
Yes, our appointment date was the same time. And firefighter Melinde was a firefighter's firefighter. He was an excellent worker. He was dedicated. He loved his job. He did it very, very well. And this is the loss is beyond words.
Tomorrow, hundreds of firefighters will gather at the Immaculate Conception Church to say farewell to their fallen comrade, and each in his or her own way will probably say thanks to firefighter Victor Melinde for a job well done. In Stoughton, Walt Sanders, WBZ News 4.
Melinde served as a fireman for 23 years. His funeral mass begins at 10 o'clock tomorrow at the Immaculate Conception Church in Stoughton.
Still ahead on News 4, 2 years ago, Bill Clinton was a winner in New Hampshire. What's the standing there now? Or what can he expect in 1996?
Also a major victory for veterans groups protesting an exhibit of the plane that dropped the atomic bomb on Japan.
So Mix-a-Lot is the watcher.
See what else is popping.
From his penthouse, he's got his eye on a hustler who thinks he's a playboy.
What's your story, cowboy?
I'm here trying to be a gigolo, man.
But what this gigolo doesn't know will hurt him.
I'll wait for you right here.
Then, it's monkey see, monkey do, and you get a ringside view.
Think I'll stay a while.
On another eye-opening episode of The Watcher.
Next Wednesday night at 9 on TV38.